welcome to Ellamas Day 4, and today I want to show you my favorite, in no particular order, but basically my picks for Christmas slash very festive palettes, and also my picks for winter palettes, because I think they're a bit different. A Christmas palette is not particularly a winter palette, while a winter palette could be a Christmas palette. In case you don't know what Ellamas is, this is my series for December where I show you, or where I give you a video every single day. That means even after Christmas, you will still get videos until December 31st. I just said this is in no particular order, it's not a ranking, it's basically a recommendation. Some of these I want to point out they're not available anymore. Some of these are a bit harder to get, but I just wanted to give you my full-on honest opinion, and sometimes we have to take the bitter pill and just accept, well, these might be my fave in this category, but they're not available anymore. But maybe you have something similar. So if you have a question to any of these palettes that maybe is not available anymore, just ask down below and I try to find a dupe palette for you that can match this vibe. For each of these two categories, I brought 5 palettes, and we're starting with the Christmas slash festive palettes. And honestly, I wanted to stay with Christmas palettes, but there is one particular palette in this that is technically not really checking the boxes for me on the Christmas vibe. This is checking boxes for festive vibes. I'm starting off with a very, very small one. Let's just start right away with that. These tiny palettes from Shellwe Makeup are sadly not available anymore, at least not through the Shellwe website as far as I know. Some resellers do have the big version of these. So this is the Shellwe Makeup Circus palette. And the Circus palette is, in my opinion, the definition of a Christmas palette, because you have 2 brownie mattes that you can use to build your depth, and then you have a red and a golden shimmer. If red and gold are not Christmas colors, what are they then? Tell me. I mean, look at my eye. I think they truly are. These palettes from Shellwe Makeup, they usually come in a big version and then in the small version. Definitely check out the Shellwe Makeup website if they maybe have the big palette of this still. Maybe you are lucky enough in one of the resellers. I will definitely put on links to the palettes wherever I can find them down in the description box below. But I think this, if you are just looking for the smallest Christmas palette ever, Shellwe Circus does the job. Next up, we have a limited edition palette from this year. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillowtalk Beautyverse Love Palette. Beautyverse is the new limited edition holiday palette that Charlotte Tilbury brought out, or brings out, since 2023. And honestly, while I said in my review back in September that I think that this palette is more a Valentine's palette, I think it fits the term Christmas palette too. First of all, the reds, the warms, the comfiness, the glitter and shimmer, it just works. This is a level maybe even of red eyeshadow that is a good beginner level, because not everybody wants to start with red glitter. Some people want to have a warm red Christmassy look, but they do not want to commit to that full-on shebang. So since this is, well, this is the shade Virtual Romance. This is the deep red in this palette. Everything else is definitely leaning more pink, so you can have a very nice transition from pink to red. And since this is so warm, I'd say this is a Christmas slash festive palette. And how cute is the packaging, because this looks like a giant pop shot. The palette that made me rename this into festive and Christmas palettes is this guy here. This is the Glaminatrix Cosmetics Fairy Lights palette. This came out last year or in the beginning of this year, mainly for the Christmas and New Year's season. And this, if this is not your typical definition of a festive glitter palette, I don't know what else could be. It is such a beautiful palette. Cracker down here is a tad bit holographic. There are holographic sparks, but this is, in my opinion, also the weakest shade of the palette. The other 5 do shine so much better. Carol's is such a beautiful goldy white gold, festive with this copper sheen in it, but very subtle everything. So if you have maybe a neutral matte, take your bronzer, put your bronzer in the crease, build the bronzer a bit up for a tad bit depth, and then just, if you are that girl, take your finger, stick it into Festive, apply it on the lid, and you're fucking good to go. You will just rock that Christmas party. You will rock that family Christmas dinner. It is so pretty. Right now, when I'm filming this palette is not available on the Glaminatrix website. I saw it on some of the bad reseller website, that scammy reseller. I don't know if this will come back. I just hope that Glaminatrix is bringing this back for this season, because it is truly a joyful palette. But honestly, if you cannot get this exact palette, Glaminatrix Cosmetics, is it Glaminatrix or Glaminatrix Cosmetics? It's Glaminatrix Cosmetics. Okay. They do have single eyeshadows, and with these single eyeshadows you have such a big pool of eyeshadow, of shimmers, of metallics and mattes to choose from, that you can probably build a 6-pan eyeshadow palette like this by just choosing their singles. They have amazing quality, they're hand pressed, they're not to be compared with their latest palettes like the not barely basic, the nearly neutral. Check out their singles. You can definitely build this by choosing from them. And maybe when you say, hey, I don't want to have Cracker or Wrath maybe in that palette, add 2 mattes and you're good to go. While the year 2024 was probably one of the worst years when it comes to releases, or in general to their social media appearances as a brand, I think that Pat McGrath still should be talked about, but only the old stuff. And I don't want to shut up, and I want to tell you that Pat McGrath Mothership 7 Divine Rose, to me, while it is very, very pink, it is also very, very warm and very, very golden shiny, has a beautiful, soft Christmas vibe. And you can amp up that Christmas vibe with this shade. This is Astral Solstice. And I'm so happy that this specific shade here is not only in Mothership 7, it's also in Mothership 6. This is my favorite Pat McGrath shade. This one. I have all Motherships. I have the 3 mega Motherships from the years before this disaster of this year. I have all of her quins, but still this shade, Astral Solstice, is my favorite, is the goat, is the girl, is the one that saves Christmas. Tell me, if the Grinch is coming, take Astral Solstice and throw it in the Grinch's face, Christmas is saved. This palette will give you such soft, nice, golden, festive Christmas looks. I actually consider wearing it this Christmas. And the last palette for the Christmas vibe is technically not a Christmas palette. This was a fall release from Too Faced. Who knew that? Who had it on the bingo card that in 2024 I will recommend a Too Faced palette? But the Too Faced Appley in Love just got my heart the moment that I saw the pictures, and I waited for so long, and I paid so much money for this fucker because I then decided to buy this on the shop that just charged me €20 more than it later on was on Beauty Bay, but I don't fucking care. First of all, oh, this palette smells like spices. Not so much like apple, not gonna lie, but it smells super spicy and I love that. And then this palette has everything that I connect with Christmas. We have the pinks. Okay, the pinks not so much. But we have goldens, we have browns, we have greens, and we have reds. This palette is the definition of Christmas decoration in my house actually. So I definitely cannot do a Christmas palette recommendation video without talking about the Too Faced Appley in Love. If you can, get them all and wear them all year long. But if you'd ask me which one of these 5 palettes you definitely should get. If you say, okay, this year, Ella, I want to buy me a Christmas palette and I want to have the ultimate Christmas palette. Too Faced Appley in Love is it this year. Maybe I will wear this. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. But Too Faced Appley in Love is, to me, although this was a fall release, the Christmas palette of 2024. Now to the winter palettes. And the first winter palette that I want to talk about is a palette that I think it came out in spring/early summer, and it took people, it took their hearts in a storm. Nobody was prepared for this palette, honestly. But Byredo Mineralscapes comes with the cheapest packaging that I've seen in a long time of an expensive brand like Byredo. This is all plastic. This is one of those weird sticky stickers. It looks so ugly. But this to me is a winter theme. This is cool tone. This is shiny. This is snowy. I see this palette more in the transition of the late winter into early spring. You know, that moment when there is still every now and then a bit snow, -degrees or somewhat around still, but in some certain areas you have the first grass picking through. You know, here are the greens. You have the little rays of sunlight coming through, or not like, you know, winter sun, in my opinion, is different to spring sun. The winter sun is beautiful. I love the winter sun. It's my favorite kind of sun. But the spring sun is a bit warmer. It's weird. It shines more warm. The winter sun, because of snow that is reflecting that, has just a very cool toned vibe, and I love that. But this, to me, is spring sun. This is late winter, but still winter, heading into spring, but still cold. Does this make any sense? I have no fucking clue. If you can get your hands on the Byredo Mineralscapes, do not miss out on it, because I think every brand brings out a palette that is the palette. And everything before that and after that palette just appears to be worse. And for Byredo, if I just look at their history, I think this is the palette. If you love a more neutral vibe, while the Byredo one is quite neutral, but you want to have a super neutral winter vibe, highly suggest, oh my god, that word. I highly suggest the Tom Ford Lumiere d'Hiver. This is the quad from last year's winter's collection, and I love specifically about this quad these 2 shades. These are the thin ethereal shimmers that we love in Makeup by Mario's Ethereal Eyes, that we love in Natasha Denona's I Need a Nude. These are as good, if not even a tad bit better, while I think Makeup by Mario nailed these formulations to the fucking max. But this, very pretty. It is such a nice neutral palette, and that from someone who's wearing gold and red glitter today. If you want to have a bit more choice, but still be a more neutral gold, but still be snowy, cool toned, check out Cheeryep. This is the Cheeryep number 7 palette, Stealing Hearts. This is frosty. This is frostiness in a palette. This is Frozen Girl vibes. This is, I don't know, I have no fucking clue. It's Ice Skate Girl vibe in a palette. Winter palette does not always have to be blue, although the other 2 are blue. But To me, this also has wintry vibes. It is cool toned, it is frosted, it is so pretty. And you still can go very, very dark with this because you have this beautiful black in here with teeny tiny bluish shimmer specks going on. You have definitely more mattes than shimmers in this one because technically you have only 4 shimmers because I count that actually as a matte. So absolutely stunning, and the Cheeryep quality is up there. The last 2 palettes, they are similar, but they couldn't be more different. And you will know in a second what I mean. The first one is sadly discontinued. So this palette you cannot get anymore, which is a shame because it was sold out so quick. And I to this day do not understand why Beauty Bay did not keep up with the formulation and the idea of the Metamorphic palette. The Metamorphic palette just hit a certain spot with people, and when I look at the Metamorphic color story, I see a frozen lake on a sunny day. The sun is shining, reflecting on that lake. It's hitting in different angles. It's reflecting in different angles. You have so many colors going on there. You have the snow is maybe even a bit fallen down, but you sit there, you're cold, and when you breathe, you just have this, like white fog coming out of you. This is the vibe that I have here, and this is the definition of the perfect winter palette. And I would say the same thing about the last palette that I want to recommend to you, but this, Metamorphic, while again, this is not available anymore, but maybe you have it, but you haven't grabbed it in such a long time because you were like me and be like, yeah, but it's not available anymore, so I don't want to touch it. But oh my God, girl, pull up your fucking pants because you will not hit pan on an eyeshadow. Just chill. If you're a collector like me, you will not. This is more quiet. And the last palette is Metamorphic on crack for the people who want to go out there, who want to show the world, look at me, I'm the winter girl. And Cosmic Brushes, they just, they gave us Winter Wonderland last year. And honestly, to me, while I love what Cosmic Brushes did this year, I did not get the Undergrowth palette because it is too green, not my vibe. But I love what they did with the neutrals and the cooltrals. Absolutely stunning. But you know what? I think Winter Wonderland for Cosmic Brushes is that palette. Because I constantly want to compare another color story with Winter Wonderland. If you remember, I did a Cosmic Brushes ranking a couple months ago, and I ranked the Cooltrils over Winter Wonderland, but that mainly for the fact that I think that Cooltrils, for the majority of people, is more versatile in an everyday look than the Winter Wonderland, because this is very loud and very, very specific. But Winter Wonderland has some of the most special shades I have ever seen. Winter Solstice is one of these, and I know so many people love this. If there is one shade from Cosmic Brushes that I see constantly shared from them, that even is panned by people, then it's Winter Solstice. Winter Wonderland is one of those more thin, shimmery, icy shades that look just like fallen snow, that have reflection of sun in there. Frost is the definition of a frosted lake surface. It is so fucking pretty. Atmosphere, this purple shifty pink. I could go on and on and on, and I still stand by the fact that in the space of Cosmic Brushes, I prefer Cooltrils over Winter Wonderland. But if we are in the space of winter palettes, honestly, I couldn't decide whether to choose Metamorphic or Winter Wonderland. And these are my 5 recommendations for each Christmas/festive palettes and the winter palettes. Please, please, please let me know down below. What is your favorite Christmas or festive palette? And what's your favorite winter palette? Or Is it even the same? And let me know down below what you're planning to wear this year for the Christmas Eve. Thank you so much for joining. Make sure you subscribe so that you do not miss out any of the Ellamas videos, because there are a lot of videos to come. We have so many days still left in December. I wish you a wonderful holiday season, and I hope I can see you tomorrow.